4. It's me again, Teacher Emily, and we're done with our Araling Panlipunan and we move on to another subject that supposedly we're going to discuss this morning. But due to my unstable internet connection, I cannot really did not meet online. So this is the alternative way for you to still catch up the lesson, which is I'm going to discuss right now. And in English, ayan, our last subject or last lesson for this subject, it's the word association, particularly analogy and classification. So, what is classification of analogy or classification analogy? Classification analogies are a type of analogies that compare terms according to what group they are belong. Yan. This way, people can demonstrate the relationship between two different pairs of words by emphasizing the classification of one of their terms as a group of another. Classification analogies can also be hierarchical in nature, by which different levels of hierarchy are compared, as well as focusing on a relationship of inclusion. Ayan. Kaya nga, it's from the word itself, classification, which means you classified by groups. Ayan. We identify relationships in order for us to determine their connection with each other. Ayan po. That's why we have classification analogy. We classify things in order for us to identify the relationship of each words or each group of words. So we have different types of analogies that we can apply or we can identify in a particular paragraphs, particular sentences, as well as text or stories. So first one is a part to whole. When we say part to whole, it's something that is part from an actual or from its from the part. Ayan. Meron lang siyang parte. Kumbaga, meron siyang parte dun sa kabuuan. Parang yung pie, we have 1 inch of a pie to a whole pie. Ayan po. For example, is battery to flashlight. A battery is a part of a flashlight. Therefore, it is an example of part to whole, which is to another, if we're going to classify it or to identify to another example, which is a hard drive to computer. They are connected with each other because it is a part to whole. Ayan, battery to flashlight. Second one is the cause and effect. Ayan po, cause and effect. Parang ito po yung reason and then what is consequences or what is the result. The reason and the result. And first example is fatigue and yawning. So what makes you yawn? Bakit ba tayo humikab? Just because we are tired, we are exhausted. When we say fatigue, our body is tired and exhausted. Another example is that itching and scratching. Itching to scratching. Ayan po. Bakit ba tayo nangangati? Kasi, or nangangati kasi makati. Ayan. So, yun po yung sinasabi natin cause and effect. We identify the reason and then we know the result of particular reason. So, yun po yung example of cause and effect. Third one is the person to situation. Yan, parang person purpose. For example, it's the mother to home, which is kung at home parents, lalo na kung nasa bahay lang yung parents. So therefore, the function of the mother is to home. Next one is the teacher to school. Therefore, saan ba nagbo-work ang teacher? Therefore, it's in the school. So that's why they are connected with each other. Ayan po, person to situation. Ibig sabihin to, saan po sila nababagay. Ayan po. Next one is the synonyms. Again, when we say synonyms, it's the same meaning of the word. Ayan. They are both the same meaning. For example, obese and fat. Ayan po. And theme. They are synonymous to each other. Ayan po. Next one is the antonyms. Okay, antonyms, the exact opposite of synonyms. When synonyms is having the same meaning, the antonyms having the opposite meaning. Ayan po. Well, for example, poverty and wealth, yung kahirapan sa kayamanan. Sickness and health, diba? Sickness and health. So that is an antonym. Next one is measurement. Ayan po, measurement po tayo. Ibig sabihin yung ating mga sukat. Pounds to kilogram and quart to liter. Ayan po. Ayan. For example, again, it's centimeter to inches. Ayan. Time. Ayan. Time. March is spring. Ayan. Siyempre, during March is they have spring. Sa Pilipinas, wala tayong spring. Yan. Pero May, pwede natin lagay May and summer. Ayan. December and winter. Ayan po. Next one is object to purpose. So, what is the purpose of a pen? What is the purpose of a paper? So, yun po yung tinatawag nating object to purpose. For example, broom is to sweep. Ayan. Knife is to cut. The use of the broom is to sweep, and the use of the knife is to cut. Ayan po. Next one is the, wait lang po, commercial. Siyempre, naglag ang laptop. So, kailangan po natin hintayin ang aking laptop. Ayan. Word to creation. Ayan. What does a teacher do? Ayan. So, first one is a composer to symphony. Of course, a composer created or creates a symphony of music. Ayan. Kaya nga sila composer because they create symphony of music. Another one is author to novel. They are writers, diba? Kapag gumagawa ang writers, they created a novel or a short piece of writing. Ayan po yung tinatawag nating worker to creation. What does a specific occupation or profession works? Or ano yung outcome ng ginagawa nilang works. Ayan. Item to category. And trout to fish. A trout is a kind of fish. Ayan. And a corn is a kind of vegetable. That's why we categorize each word by giving the specific family. Ayan. Kaya nga, trout is a kind of fish. And a corn is a kind of vegetables. Ayan. Last one is the product to source. Ayan. Saan ba galing ang mga bagay-bagay? Ay yung mga ating mga kinakain, yung mga ginagamit. Ayan. For example is apple to tree. An apple came from a tree, of course. It's a kind of plant. And a milk came from a cow, which is also, yan po yung pinanggalingan nila. Yan po kaya nga siya tinawag na product to source. Saan galing ang mga bagay-bagay. So this is just a few example of types of analogy. We have so much or more types of analogies. But for this lesson, I just list 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 types of analogies. Ayan po. Okay, for our activity, ayan po, for our activity, here is, ayan, the direction is, choose the pair of words that best express a relationship similar to that of the original pair. Then write the bridge sentence to the right. Encircle the correct answer. Ayan po. The first one, or there is an example for you to have a guide in answering our items. So, example is finger to hand. Therefore, the function of, or the bridge type is a part of whole, just because a finger is a part of our hands. Ayan po. Next, let's identify the relationship or the connected analogy from the choices. So letter A is lettuce to sandwich, dog to cat, C is lift to tree, and D shoe to sack. So the answer is a lift to tree. Just because a lettuce and a sandwich is a product to source, and then a dog to cat is a kind of animal, and next is the shoe to sack is the a particle. So a particle is our leaf to tree just because a leaf is a part of tree. I am ho. So from items 1 to 5, identify the relationship text as the same bridge type of the particular analogy. Ayan po siya. Which is number 1, a bird to fly. Ayan. What is, it's like a first purpose. Ayan. A bird to fly. Ayan po. So, what is the connected or expresses the same relationship among the choices? So, yan lang po ang ating English classification of analogies. It identifies relationship within the analogy. Kaya nga siya analogy because it's a kind of logic that you need to identify something. So, yun po. If there is any question or any clarification, you can message me in messenger so I can give you an immediate response with regards with our lesson in English for this week. Ayan po. I hope you've learned and understand the discussion I did today. What the hell is happening?